Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live on the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course. Alongside Seth Merrow, I'm Anthony Mormino, and it's Groundhog Day again because, as I said, to make my English teacher roll over, it's much more better than even yesterday because the dew point must have been about 54 degrees this morning.
Yeah, no, it
nice was today. Stunning this morning, and it's just getting better. So, if you have some time on your hands, it's Sword Dancer Day. We'll be here for a long time, so come on down.
I wish it was like Groundhog Day, the movie. Now, I was just thinking about this because, and it is in the sense that day after day after day, but
he keeps improving his life.
Yeah, and Groundhog Day at the racetrack, woof, that would be golden.
You only need one moment. It's like, it's like with the race. I only need 3 minutes. I need a time machine for 3 minutes once a year, and I'm good. So beautiful day, Sword Dancer Day. I think about the first time in a decade it's not on the undercard of the Travers.
Oh, could be, yeah. On the same day as the Arlington Million. So
yeah. And I looked it up. Well, and obviously for those who are interested in money and economics, there's a sliding scale of it, but I settled on the Arlington Million would need to be worth $3.45 million. And I think if it was, it would take its spot where it was for the first, say, 10 runnings. The premier summer race.
I remember when the Arlington Million showed up, $1 million. You're like, wow,
yeah.
It was definitely something. $1 million race these days is,
I think,
not quite as impressive.
At Kentucky Downs, don't they have like 4 of them in one day?
Yeah.
I mean, there is some conditions for it, but there could be 4 on one card at Kentucky Downs who hardly anyone ever heard of 20 years ago.
Yeah, what was it?
Dueling Grounds.
Dueling Grounds.
Were you going to say shooting?
I was going to say Shenandoah.
Yeah. No, what was Shenandoah? West Virginia?
Yeah, I think maybe it was Dueling Grounds. You're right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Between Charlestown and Mountaineer, I think one of them might have been Shenandoah. I think the other one might have been Waterford. I'd have to look those
Waterford,
up
right.
to be. I mean, if you have the old men, the broadsheets, and you open it up, and on the page like 4-ish would have like 15, 18 different tracks. You didn't get the PPs. You just got the entries. I'm hoping my director is looking up now instead of watching YouTube video.
No shot.
You don't think so? He's saying, Gino, no, that's a shot across the bow.
But also,
because I have to do it now. Go ahead.
Also, I'm assuming it would be a day when they had a page that, they had an empty page essentially. But every once in a while, one of the last 2 pages would be the map of the country with all the tracks on it.
Tremendous.
I haven't seen that in years.
Oh, no, that's...
And it would certainly look very different now. I would like to go back because I still have some of those.
Okay, so we got Mountaineer was Waterford. And since my director...
I got to get Brian Boyer in here because he's coming out with a book that is kind of looking at all the old tracks. And it's a bunch of contributors. I think Mike Veach has written about some. Teresa Gennaro has a couple of tracks that she's written about. Brian, obviously, but I've been trying to get Brian in. I tried to get him in last week with the Hall of Fame.
2 for 2.
What was
Shenandoah, Charlestown?
Okay. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have been there, and I was texting Seth while I was on track. It is a beautiful racetrack, the grounds and everything. But let me tell you, I told this story I think was before. The person who was so helpful says to me, do you want the quick way, which is naturally through the casino, or do you want the roundabout just to the racetrack? I said, I'll take the roundabout to the racetrack. So I walk out. It's stunning. Nothing out of place. You got the bull ring. You got the 10 horses. I'm guessing 10 horses is maximum field size because they had 10 stalls. It was beautiful. I'm telling you. But so there you have it. Waterford is Mountaineer, and Shenandoah Downs is. I have a question for you. You're talking about what is it? Chippy. What was the horse that went 0 for 100?
Zippy Chippy.
I have a question on that day because you were there. Did they cheer when he came back 0 for 100?
I don't remember, but it wouldn't surprise me because, like I say, they were happy to see him and they were happy to bet him. More surprising.
I was just thinking, I was like, so when is he the lucky loser or something?
The lovable loser.
The lovable. I mean, because I guess it's a story if you're one for I don't know, but I was telling somebody this the other night about the T-shirt with Ridge Strike that's not on it. I think it's worth $500, the T-shirt, if you have one that doesn't have the actual win of the Derby. But I was thinking about that after I was having that conversation. I was like, did they cheer when he came back losing?
Surprise me. I don't remember.
I mean, I think I
think there were a lot of people there because Zippy Chippy was there that day. I just went. I might have gone for Zippy Chippy, but I went also just because it was a few days after Saratoga. I thought, get another shot of horse racing. I'd never been to one of the fairs, and unfortunately, they're essentially gone now.
Yes.
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a different quality of racing than I'd seen 4 days before up here. A vastly different, and also, here you have the normal food, hot dogs and pizza and whatnot. Up there, it was like fair food. They had. I took a picture of one. I think it was called Steak in a Cup. Yeah, so
Never heard of that one.
I didn't try it.
I guess you got to give us more than that.
I didn't experiment.
Did you look over somebody's shoulder that had one?
I took a picture of the front of
the signage.
Yeah.
So that I wonder if they cheered that day. But what fair?
Northampton.
Northampton.
Yeah.
Was that like the last? Because Barrington's been gone basically for 40 years, minus 1 or 2. Marshfield used to run, but was Northampton the last Massachusetts fair?
It could have been.
And I think you told me once that the main fair circuit is harness racing, though.
Yeah, it's not is a lot of fun too. And I used to go to Cumberland. Well, I've been to. I wasn't a regular. I've been to it a couple of times. In September.
I think if you go twice, you're a regular.
Well, maybe I was. But it was in September. But when Scarborough Downs closed, Cumberland became kind of the regular circuit. So it's not the same. I'm sure they still hold the fair there, but I don't know whether it's quite the same thing. But that was wild because it was a New England fair. You went up and there were the pumpkins like this size, and there was the kids with the 4-H, and it was a lot of fun just to walk around.
I think
and it was a fair on the flip side, food wise, because you walk around, you're in Maine, lobster roll, fried clams. Yeah, that was an upgrade on the food.
Fairs, I think unfortunately, and I understand why Timonium has their card. I wish they would run on our dark Monday or Tuesday, because trust me, I would be down the thruway for the opener on Monday for Timonium, because I think they're the last standing major fair circuit. California has tried to do well, but they're kind of going south, right? They've closed a couple.
I think
Fresno, I think, yes.
I think they're done.
So
they were fighting to keep it going this summer, but
the Clancy brothers know it for sure. They went dark, I think, for a couple of years, but and I love Dave Rodman. He's like around the ice cream stand.
Yeah, that picture of the Ferris wheel on the final turn.
How can that not be the best marketing? Yeah. Also, by the way, at 8:15, there was a reservation for one at the Mexican Connection today. We had a loose horse on the street.
Oh,
and it was these folks at the track work. They work alongside each other, helping and everything. It was a situation because they're on. He's on Nelson Avenue,
and they do not get good footing out on the macadam either. And, so that becomes dangerous.
So we went to the back, and I'm looking. I can't see that corner, but the fence line goes here. The fence line goes there. I'm like, it must be a closed environment. And they got a couple of one of the Jim Bond Bentley was going about 30 miles an hour, as fast as it could go. It was coming out. He's shouting that he's going to exit, and he comes over here. I would say without incident, but the heart palpitations were,
Jeez.
and I would say if I just had to guess, people from 5 different horse racing operations were involved. So it was dicey for a moment.
Wow. Yeah,
and then I saw, then you got caught. It was
because if you don't, was he outside and got loose already? Was he like a bond horse or a harness track horse, or was he in here? And
no, this is what I think got loose down there.
Oh,
it was crossing over, got loose, etc. It was Jimmy Bond.
If folks don't know, we've talked about loose horses over here before and people yelling and whatnot. If a horse gets loose over here on the main track, an alarm sounds, a horn. And so everybody's aware, particularly on the track, because you have other horses working on the track. So they now become aware, oh, watch out. And these guys here close the gate. There's a gate right out here that we have to drive in every day. They close that so the horse can't, if he escapes from the track. But the Jim Bond horses are down the street, so they're out on the street. And further up, there are horses in stalls over on the harness track. Chad Brown has horses. Todd Play. A lot of the trainers have them over, and they cross up the street every morning on the street side.
And they are on the harness side, but they seem to have the same architecture as us over here. If you ever notice, they seem to be the same barns, but they're on their property.
Oh yeah, I think it's just barns need extra stalls.
Yeah,
that's
but they seem to be. It's not like they're borrowing. They're. I think the flat track's barns over there.
Or
nobody calls it that anymore,
somehow.
do they?
The flat track?
Yeah,
I do. Still, but
there used to be a time on Capitol when it said SAR space flats because the harness had a big thing. So Arlington Million Day today. Might be the last running as a Grade 1. A Kentucky Derby winner's in there. I think Gato del Sol might have been the last Kentucky Derby winner to compete in the Arlington Million, but don't quote me on that.
It's going to be interesting to see what
how he does.
Yeah, what Mystic Dan does, trying the turf, integration. Had Joe Bianca in yesterday from West Point. They're expecting big. I think he's the morning line favorite. Not surprisingly, he does very well. And he said, and he's a horse that's deserving of a Grade 1. He's had a really great career. He just hasn't been able to break through in those kind of races. And in the Manhattan, he made a great late run to come up that short behind Deterministic, who then validated the performance, winning the other day as well in a Grade 1. So integration is interesting. We'll talk a little bit about the Arlington Million coming lá top of the hour. First, we'll be joined by Harry Rice, a longtime valet up here. They had the Harry Rice race yesterday. 49 years. He's a New York fixture, great guy. His son was part of the broadcast team and whatnot, but also in the game. And so we'll have Harry to talk a little bit about his career. Callie Francois will join us again, regular here on Saturdays. She has a couple of taped interviews, one with the Charlie Appleby assistant, one with Dylan Davis. But Howard Kravis will join us as well from the HHH Racing Podcast. We'll get some of his thoughts on this afternoon's card here. But when I talked to him yesterday, I said, have you looked at the Million? He said, oh, yeah. So we'll talk a little Million as well with Howard. That all comes up at 10 o'clock.
And by the way, I watched the it's a great piece that Andy Schilling did with 2 of the judges, not the gaming and racing and gaming judge, but the other 2. And I thought it was very well done. Now, I get back to the fact that live and audio is the direction I want to go, but that was okay. But the one thing I thought was interesting, they never really kind of alluded to the fact of whether they felt that Flavien, like, did he ever look over? They never, and that was one of my things watching it. You know, most of us, whether you're driving up the north or something, it's a pretty easy visual to see whether you look over. And we don't have the leaf blow on a daily thing, so you got to take, once in a while you got to expect it a little early in the morning, but okay. So I was like, and they went through all of the step-by-steps of what led to the decision making, which I thought was good. I mean, I like detail. But one part I really left out was like, it appears to me like he never looked over. And that's not good. Like, if you had looked over, you made a judgment, okay, poor judgment, but I think he kind of just dropped over, took the lane. I thought that, et cetera. But I thought that's a good piece.
I'm with you. I like that. That's kind of become a regular feature now. Indy's, I think, weekly talking with at least one of the stewards about the decisions from the previous week. So that's a good addition, certainly.
And I was just surprised. I was like, it kind of looked like he dropped over without realizing he's there. And what kind of happens is, like, on the road, the horse that's getting dropped over, or the car, sees it happening, and they're the ones that prevent the accident, because you're causing the accident by dropping into a space that doesn't exist.
And I showed the
Which,
still
by the way,
shots.
happens to be every day as I drive up here.
I showed the still shots last week from the drone, and you can see that the horse winds up in the 2-path with 2 horses inside of him, which doesn't add up. You can't have 2 horses going into the 1-path. And so people were saying, well, no, I think, it was Castellano, I think, he anticipated the horse was going to come up. And my thing is, he anticipated correctly. The horse did come over.
And I think that's one of the things, like, he knew that Flavien hadn't looked over. He's like, he doesn't know I'm here, etc. And as I said, on the run out, it didn't look like he said anything. So a great day of racing, great weather up here. If you're on the fence, it's you got to come up here. First post is 12:35. You got to come up.
First of all, it was a player's bankroll yesterday at the Clubhouse Racebook, and congratulations to the team. 5 of the team members hit. Well over $1,900 split amongst 9 players. Nice little afternoon for the players in the players bankroll down at the Clubhouse Racebook. So keep that in mind. Another one will come up on the 22nd. So 2 weeks from yesterday, there'll be another players bankroll down there. You may want to stop by. But coming up today at Capital OTB, Fan Appreciation Day, the Queensbury branch, swing by and say hello so we can say thank you to you up in Queensbury. I've been up there for TV a number of times for Fan Appreciation Days. Really nice group of folks up there. So, and a nice, comfortable setting. Great place to watch and wager. Queensbury branch today, Fan Appreciation Day. Bounty Bet returns this afternoon. Late pick 5 at Saratoga. Play with your Capital OTB bet account for a shot at that bounty. And Clubhouse Racebook offers a little chance for some extra money today as well with the King of the Hill contest. Tomorrow at the Clubhouse Racebook, it is the Knockout Challenge, so that's a lot of fun as well. Tomorrow also will be my Pick 3 bankroll. Bankroll entries are still open. I think we close a little bit later, maybe tomorrow. But anyway, if you go now, you get your chance to put your name in for a chance on the Pick 3 bankroll team. CapitalOTB.com. Click on the promotions link. Look for the Pick 3 bankroll graphic. Click on that. Fill out the entry form, and I hope you get on the team, and more importantly, I hope I can score for you with the Pick 3 plays on Sunday tomorrow.
All right, time for Kevin Cox and the DePaula Play of the Day.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
Hello, everybody. Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy here with your DePaula Play of the Day for Capital OTB from beautiful Saratoga Race Course. We've been giving you our plays of the day on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the meet, basing our success on a 50 to win, 30 to place, 20 to show wager. After showing a flat bet profit for the first 3 years in doing this, we're shooting for the Grand Salami this year. As you can see, we rotate our photos every day behind us, and being this is Bijou Week, we have the Winner's Circle presentation from the race dedication 20 years ago this week. And who won the race that day? Of course, the Daddy. How could it not? That horse actually went on to win a Grade 1 race, the Louisiana Super Derby. So anyway, today's play of the day is going to be in race 2, no hunch play, number 5, Dad's Good Runner. As with yesterday's play of the day, we're making our selection with a horse who was not the top choice of our column, as we're seeing him as a solid 1, 2, 3 player, which bodes well for the bankroll team, as you know. This guy is the kind of horse where if the jockey and the trainer were blacked out, you could see him going off at maybe 3 to 1 or 7 to 2. but you're going to be getting double that amount today. As of right now, he's 8-1 on the morning line. And the reason for such is, in fact, the low percentage connections. That being said, he's outran, or is it outrun, his odds in the last quartet, partaken in the superfecta each time, and that includes a 61-1 placing last time out behind a very tough Amundsen. Let the snobs think what they will, but we're going to make this 8-1 shot our Capital OTB DePaula Play of the Day, Race 2, number 5, Dad's Good Runner. Have a wonderful day at the track today, and happy Bijou Day to all who celebrate.
And they're off. Chevrolet, Mazda, and Ford right now at the DePaula Auto Group. Take off the savings you need on the vehicle that you want. New cars, trucks, SUVs, hybrids, and all electric. Delivered with DePaula savings. And the DePaula Auto Group has hundreds of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, DePaula can service any make and model and has over 100 service bays. So buy DePaula. Think DePaula for all of your automotive needs. DePaula Auto Group. Chevrolet, Mazda, Ford, and pre-owned. DePaula.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There is action galore this morning, and that is at least the third wave of the Jimmy Pond horses I have seen this morning. But it's beautiful. Come on up. 12 race card today.
I got to pull up that. I maybe I should tweet that out there. The other day when we during the with the loose horse who eventually ran right behind us with no rider right back, and
he was energetic too. He was
luckily I think everything turned out well there because once he was on the track he didn't really have anywhere to go. Yeah. But I got to pull up just that video. It was kind of interesting to see the riderless horse zip right behind us.
The opener, State Bred's going 6.
5, 1, 3, and 4 for me. I will put Trust Fund on top. Todd Fletcher trainee comes in off a couple of wins. You know, it's hard to string 3 together. I will admit that, but this horse is in good form, obviously, as evidenced by those 2 wins and solid numbers. Fletcher obviously having a very good meet. Kendrick's having a very good meet as well. So I'll tilt in that direction. Linda Rice having a very good meet as well. And What's Up, Bro, steps out of Allowance Company. Now, last seen in April, a little bit of a layoff to overcome. The workouts, a couple of them. I mean, the July 18th workout was good enough to think this horse is going to come back and be ready. And Linda Rice can certainly have him ready like this. And one last seen was a nice winner. Does concern me maybe a little bit off since April and now comes back for the tag. But they claimed the horse in January of last year for $45,000. They have clearly put a lot of money in the bank. And so a drop down isn't as much of a concern. A little bit, but not as much as it might be. And then Dear Chairman, also from Linda Rice, also stepping out of Allowance Company. It's that state bred allowance to a claimer that is interesting, but this isn't really, this is an optional claimer. The horse isn't in for the tag, and also was only in the state bred allowance ranks for the one race. It was a nice win, but I think Dear Chairman is also alive in the first 5, 1, 3, and 4.
I see it similarly. Seth has left off the I'm Wide Awake 9-5 favorite for Norm Cassie, and I have him in third. I think he's part of the mix. I mean, when there's a one number stick out, I'm just suspicious of it, and I've come to learn, thanks to my partner, that it carries so much weight. That 89, 2 races back, but 84, 85 puts them with about 3 other horses. Well, I don't want 9-5 that's shoulder to shoulder with 3 other horses. So I'm 5, 1, 4 in here because I didn't throw Wide Awake. I think just the 1 and the 6 are in.
I am down in the 4 spot, but you can't brag about 4 spot in a 6-horse field. But no. And to me, his best opportunity maybe to try to speed pop these, and Dear Chairman has a little bit of speed, so I was willing to take a little bit of a stand against. In the second at Saratoga this afternoon, conditional claimers, they will travel 7 furlongs.
3, 1, 8 for me, folks, and Rivalry is my top pick as they add blinkers this afternoon, second off the $16,000 claim. Shortens up from 9 furlongs, faded late in that race. Well, they're going to shorten up here. Hopefully that gives a greater foundation, and Rivalry is able to find the finish line first. For second from the rail, Hours in a Day. Linda Rice's runner, second off the claim for $20,000. Won by a pole, or won by daylight, I should say. Most recently, that was going the 1-turn mile. This is the seasonal debut. I remarked, I think, yesterday or the day before, how many horses at this meet are making their seasonal debut. It's just remarkable how much the game has changed. And then Glint for third. I want to make one observation. I don't have a point of reference because we didn't have the drone shots years ago. But this number one post position, going 7As, 15, 20 years ago was death. They were like 3 for 140. But if you watch now, they have a lot of room inside. It's almost impossible as I watch from the drone on this. You can't get buried down inside because you're being given so much room to the left now. So I've almost kind of, I don't really care anymore because if you watch the shot, I think years ago it used to be much tighter. Like they could, if you missed a stutter step, you didn't have enough room. Yeah. Now they have plenty of room to get comfortable or make decisions.
So you're surmising they've changed the gate placement a little bit.
Well, I think they've come out from the rail, and so this is a field size of 8. The number 1 horse isn't getting the first stall. They get like stall 3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah, which is probably a good idea because
absolutely it gives the guy or gal an out. He gave you space, room.
And speaking, I just pulled up yesterday's PPs because it is worth mentioning. We didn't talk at the top of the show. You talk about the horses making their seasonal debut. How about favorable scenario? Winning the last race yesterday off a layoff going back to February of 23 for Chad Brown. I had the horse as my top pick. There was no point in that race where I thought the horse was going to win until the very last jump. It was just a move late in the stretch that was whoosh, and again off a
I think I saw
layoff
on Twitter, is the math like 609 days?
It was a long time, and came like a freight train, like I say.
What was the Haas when he had that allowance race before he won?
I would have said that was like 1 year, but I don't remember.
Well, he won skipping a year when he didn't race, I thought. When he won the second one, it was 2 years later, and he only had 1 race in between. I think is the math.
I do. And then
by the way, I heard some questioning about Olathe Tom. I have to look it up because I think I have a horse winning off of a longer layoff at Naira. I got to look it up, though.
Oh, well, yeah.
I do.
Wouldn't shock me necessarily, but
609
that was
down the road.
Second race this afternoon at Saratoga. We're looking at 17.5 conditional claimers. What is it? A 3 lifetime, 7 furlongs is the trip.
I did 318. Is it your turn?
No, we haven't done this race yet.
I've done second race. I did rivalry.
You did not. Oh, you did rival. Yeah, you did rivalry. Yes.
Oh my goodness. See, it's always tough sales week with my partner because his social agenda is way up here.
Last night I went right home.
I need to get the 2 dark days under his belt and get him back on track on Wednesday. The basketball game. You got to move the basketball game. I can't have all 3 in 1 week.
That's right. I still can't sleep well after that half court shot.
I think you're safe though because it hasn't appeared on Twitter yet. So that's
thank you, folks who certainly took video. As you say, somebody had to take a picture just in case it went in.
It goes in,
but there was no threat of that. 8, 1, 5, and 2. Glint on top. Goes from a 30 claimer to a 17.5 for Linda Rice. I think the class move is going to be very beneficial. The numbers are a solid fit with this group. Linda Rice also has hours in a day, and this one's interesting. Hasn't been seen since November and comes back for the waiver today. Voided claim in the last start, but it was a win. So there's maybe a little bit of a concern, but I think hours in a day will be okay. And then Dad's good runner in the third spot. Comes in off a couple of numbers that really match up well with this bunch. I think if you get a price, you have to take an extra look maybe at Dad's good runner in here. I liked your rivalry a little bit. That bounced around the bottom. I mixed right up. I also think could be an interesting player on the race 2 back. So interesting race, interesting group. I have it 8, 1, 5, and 2.
Just give me 5 seconds here.
Well,
I'm going to get an answer for you.
I'm just going to give you an update.
Supersede 609 if 609 is right. 711-day layoff. Let me make sure I have these dates right.
4?
Double Negative,
Oh, wow.
who was a Lucas horse, laid off the 711 days, came back in Jimmy Island's barn. Down the road, I think he won like 2 allowance races in a row off the 711-day land. But Double Negative, look it up, folks, 711, because I think I saw people on Twitter saying, his longest. Well, I'm not saying the answer, but it's an answer of greater than 609, 711, Double Negative. On to the third, 2-year-old fillies, state breds dashing 5.5.
3, 2, 7, and 8. Number 3 is Charlotte's Universe. I think I said it when this horse first ran back here on July 17th in the debut. Live Oak Plantation runner. You don't name one Charlotte's Universe for Live Oak and not think you have a runner. So I'm pretty sure they felt they had a decent runner here with the name. Went off as a short price in the debut. Ran okay early and then faded a little bit late, but seems like a good foundation. Couple of siblings, Donegal Surges and Surge of Pride, both won their career debut. Another sibling won 2 in the first 4 starts. Plenty of win early, into Mischief on top. Now some experience under the belt. I'll look for this one to break through this afternoon. Second spot, Run on States by Yaupan. Again, Yaupan has some very good numbers first time out. 30 starts, 7 wins, 7 seconds, 3/3. Overall, 36 starters so far with 10 wins. That means in the 6 that weren't first-time starts, 3 of those were wins. And one of those was a horse called Sassy W that is now 3 for 3 for Yaupan. So they do very well first out, and they've continued to do very well, the limited ones that have gone on beyond their first start. So this one, a near miss in debut, I think is very dangerous this afternoon for Robbie Medina, coming in from a start at Ellis. And then in the third spot, Trading Trouble, Honest Mischief. Doesn't necessarily knock it out of the park. He hit my radar. There was a day last fall where Honest Mischief had a couple of New York bred stakes winners on the same day. And again, doesn't knock it out of the park necessarily with first-time starters. 36 of them this year, 4 wins, 5 seconds, 5/3. So winners, 4 for 36, but they're hitting the board at a pretty good number. This one kept up with that in the close miss in the debut, despite some trouble. The first foal to race from the dam, but the dam herself, second in debut, won the second start. So I'll look for this one to, again, be dangerous in the second start with those various stats and a pretty good-looking debut. Fancy Lights, for me, is very interesting as well for George Weaver. I could make an argument there. I'm 3, 2, 7, and 8.
Charlotte's Universe on top. It's a Saturday, so maybe you worry about debut runners. There's the one I'm going to get to next. But I like the debut for the offspring of Into Mischief. Was, bet to 9-5 and raced well. I mean, I'm sure the 9-5 backers don't think so, but I'm okay. Fancy Lights is the first year coming out of the White Hot George Weaver barn, and then Trading Trouble, Mike Baker. Brilliant performance on debut at double-digit odds. As with Billionaires Row yesterday, it wasn't on debut, but was double digits, ran well, and you knew that was going, and was, favorite and won.
All right. Taking a break, correct?
6-9.
So we'll head to a break, and we'll come back and continue our look at a nice Saturday card here at Saratoga. Stay tuned.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. We will now jump back into the Saturday card, looking at race number 4, first level allowance runners, a mile on the grass.
Boy, I'll tell you, if jurisprudence was 8-1 at the betting windows, this would be my play of the day. I have to tell you something. I think we'd be fortuitous to get half that price. I mean, I entrusted David Aragona, believe me, but I read Ortiz aboard, third career start. Debut was a winning effort, going a mile at Laurel. I'm all on board. Jurisprudence stayed in the off-the-turf race. We talked about this. You don't know if they stayed in the off-the-turf race to keep their place in line for this race, and now here they are. For second, Wally World. For all friends of vacation movies, Safi Joseph sends out this runner. Second start since the early part of spring. And then Laurel Valley, for all golfing fans, Mike Maker's runner. Good effort at Aqueduct. Say it again. The seasonal debut on August 9th. 5-2-3.
5-9, 4-2, and 5 is, I'm right in line with you, my dark horse play of the day, and I'm hoping we get, I'll take 4-1. I think 4-1, and then you get a double-digit price, $10. Dark horse play of the day brought to you by Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga, both right in downtown Saratoga on Broadway. And today we're looking at horse number 5, Jurisprudence, as a third-time starter from Chad Brown. Third time this year. They went down to Laurel to debut, got the win in the first start, which doesn't surprise me from this team, Chad Brown and Klarovich. And then, as you say, they were in off the turf for the last time. Get back. Now, I will say, White Palomino, David Aragona has that one 5-2 on the morning line. I do think that other Chad will take a lot of action on what we've seen so far in the career, including some near misses and stakes. So White Palomino may help our price on the other Chad. But Chad Brown just going so well. He had that, again, the phenomenal winner in the finale yesterday. And I'm hoping this is the Chad that gets it done in here, because I do think we'll get better odds than White Palomino. But will we get 8-1? I don't know. Irad Ortiz is on board. It's Chad. That seasonal day, that career debut was pretty good looking and one to build on. That's what I'm hoping. Has to go forward, obviously, number-wise. But I don't think that's out of the question at all, given the scenario so far in the first couple. So, dark horse play of the day today, race number 4, horse number 5, Jurisprudence. Underneath, I'm going to go outside to Common Defense. I will totally admit the post position concerns me a little bit, but this one had a big layoff from March of last year until July of this year, was in an off-the-turf event, ran okay, and is trying the turf for the first time. So that, to me, is a major concern. But it's Ken McPeak and Akira Conte, sired runner. I'll trust the trainer to be making a clever move here, and this one to be live at maybe a little bit of a price. And White Palomino in the third spot, as previously mentioned, hasn't been seen in over a year, but was seen in a couple of stakes races on the turf, just missing. I would not be shocked at all to see this one come back and run very, very well this afternoon. 5, 9, 4, and 2.
Race 5, claimers going 6.
5, the 1 entry, 4, and 7 for me. I will put number 5 on top. Great Richie M for Rob Atras off the claim. He does okay off the claim. And this one had been, munching on a steady diet of allowance races. Oak Lawn, Keeneland, and Churchill. Came up to Saratoga and went out in the claiming ranks for Jay Provenzano's Flying P. I'm sure Jay was looking for a little bit of a win, and he got one very nicely, but winds up losing the horse. Claim for 16, moves up to 20. I don't think that's a move of a concern at all. I think this horse is very, very playable in here off of that win last time. Second spot, we will go with Amundsen and Looms Boldly. Looms Boldly with some early speed is very interesting. Amundsen coming in with a good Saratoga record off the claim for Michelle Giangiulio, 10-strike racing. I prefer the plain one, Amundsen, but again, with the early speed, Looms Boldly, who I'm sure Pete Fornatel will be playing with enthusiasm, is also an interesting part of the entry. And Forgiving Spirit in the third spot off a nice win last time, win the claim. Similar scenario to the top pick. This one goes to the Rudy Barn. I have it 5, the 1 entry, 4, and 7.
I see the same. I'll take the entry. I think Looms Boldly, the Finger Lakes numbers are light, but I do have Fitzpatrick for Wayne Posvick in the second start of the year. Is double-digit odds on the morning line. I like the comeback race at better than 20-1. So I like the 5. I will take the entry and the 2.
Race number 6 this afternoon. We're looking at 2-year-old maidens going 6. And I will say at the top of the page, I've written there's lots to like in here.
Yeah. So I am 8-4-2 Todd Pletcher's Offspring of Curlin on the outside. Debuting is my top pick. Has 7 listed workouts. I'm guessing figured out the game rather quickly for $500,000 plus. For second, Stone County, Short Leaf Stable, John Ortiz's runner. More of a reach here for me. I wasn't enamored with the pedigree, but I do think this horse is going to get lost in the wagering shuffle. And for third, from the rail, Oscar's Hope and Offspring of Twirling Candy for Tom Amos, who I think has no chance of getting lost in the wagering. 8-4-2.
I put the 2 on top, 2, 8, 6, and 7. Twirling Candy, good stats for first-time starters, 16% overall. But this year, 48 first-time starters, 3 wins, 7 seconds, 10 thirds. So a little light on the win side. I will say all 3 of those winners have been sprinting, 2 of them on the turf and 1 on the dirt. So, the sire, again, not to be ignored. The Dam, this is the first foal out of the Dam to race, but the Dam herself won a career debut. Tommy Amos, the last 3 years up here at Saratoga with 2-year-old first-time starters, 2 for 13, 15%. So there are numbers that are kind of mixed numbers maybe, but I think overall, if you look at the trainer and the sire and whatnot, they are good numbers. But more importantly, those last 2 workouts jump off the page at me. So I'll put that one on top. Second slot will go out to the number 8, Sassmaster. Sibling called Royal Charlotte won the first 4 starts of the career, 5 of the first 6. Another sibling, Ethan Energy, 6th in debut, won the second start. Todd Pletcher, obviously very good with the 2-year-olds up here. And then Golden Tornado in the third spot. Mackenzie this year, 60 first-time starters, 7 wins, 9 seconds, 5 thirds. There's a sibling you may be aware of that has been very prominent this year, Verifier. 3 for 3 so far this year. And the last was in a Churchill stake for Brad Cox. So to have that one as a sibling, Golden Tornado, becomes very interesting for Danny Gargan. In the 6th, 2, 8, 6, and 7.
We'll take our middle break. When we come back, we kick off the pick 6.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at CapitalOTB.com or CapitalOTBBet.com and claim your free money.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Race 7, a mile on the inner turf.
7, 6, 4, and 3 for me. And I will say, I think my top three have a little bit of an edge in here if you want to do a 3-horse exacto. And this is one. Again, you look at the payoffs and it makes sense. But I could see boxing up the 7, 6, and 4 in an exacta here. Number 7 is on top, though, for me. Exact estimate. It's Chad Brown runner. Again, he's just going so well. You have to obviously pay attention to everything he sends out. And this one gets Flavian Prat on board, who was on board last time for a good second-place finish. But more importantly, we're getting some class relief in here that I think moves the horse up even a little bit more. Depiction. Originally, I had this one on top. I think this one comes in good form. Ran 5th in the poker last time, but it was the poker, which is always, I think, a tough race, tough stakes race up here. And, 5th, but with a good number that matches up with this group. So I think this horse comes in good form. And as I say, I originally put this one on top. And I originally had Touch Revenge in the second spot, an exact estimate in the third spot. You can see crosses on it. And so, as I say, all three of these to me are very intriguing. And I'm going to look and box them up, certainly. But Touch Revenge on a little bit of a class drop since the last race, I think is very, very eligible to run well also. 7, 6, 4, and 3.
And my exacta is 2 of the 3 in the turf race in for the tag. And it's simply put, it was just about price dictating that I take the 4 over the 7 here. I think they're, I have to run a little bit better. That's why I'm looking at 6-1 with Touch Revenge in here for Mike Maker, who's having a solid under the radar meet, which is tough for Mike to do. For second, exact estimate, personally, I think the race goes through him. I think he's he's in good shape. He's in for the tag for whatever reason, but he's a quality runner. He's going to probably need to use a little energy to get over, to get the good position with his forward, and then it's all coming together for third. 4, 7, 5.
Race number 8 this afternoon. Optional claimer tags are 100,000. I didn't look, but we do have one in here for the tag.
Surveillance.
There's a C condition. 3/4 of a mile is the trip.
Yeah, the 3X, the popular one. 7, 2, 8 for me. Nova Rags gets my top pick for Bill Mott, making the second start since May of 24. Those things don't matter, folks. So yesterday was on front and center, but Nova Rags 4. Mike Shanley, a gentleman who I've known for a long time. Matter of fact, I think when he won, it's like 20 years ago, Whitmore's Con, Sword Dancer. I have Damon's Mound for second. Bill Mott coming off of the grade 2 Vanderbilt, and then Surveillance, as Seth mentioned, the one runner in for the 6 figures, 7, 2, 8.
You asked me those things, and that's why I now have a phone. I could look at it, but I do not, the dates on those. I definitely, there are a couple of there are some notables that I'll remember, but not like that. For me, 2, 4, 6, and 7, Damon's Mound on top. Nova Rags started the career kind of brilliantly, and now as a 7-year-old, I put that one down at the bottom of my mix, and certainly is going to be a contender in here. But Damon's Mound on top comes in off a couple of stakes tries. They're both okay, but I think is a good fit with this group here, moving out of Stakes Company off the last couple of starts. Makes a lot of sense to me. Light the way in the second spot. Linda Rice runner comes in off a nice win last time on the front end up here, albeit on a sloppy track. There you go, 3, 4 races back. 7 races back, they were all wins. So this won 4 of the last 7, just has been in raging good form for a while now. And then Little Nye in the third spot off a nice second place finish last time in the seasonal debut behind Concrete Glory, who's a solid performer. This one's going out for Mark Cassie. Again, in the second start off a good looking seasonal debut. 8th race, 2, 4, 6, and 7.
9th race, $500,000, the Saratoga Oaks.
1, 6, 3, and 5. I'll put Opulent Restraint on top. Again, it's another Chad Brown runner. So far this season, 3 starts, no wins, but was kind of knocking on the door last time behind a couple of bona fide good runners that aren't back today. Fion and Nitrogen. Mark Cassie, I think, aiming for the Alabama there. The winner that day ran very well, not back in here. So this one off a close-up third place finish last time. I'll go in that direction. The distance may be interesting with a horse that, in the last couple of starts anyway, is like the front end. And if not on the front end, we'll be up close. So we'll see. But it's a Chad Brown trainee, Flavian Pratt on board. I'll tilt slightly in that direction. Laura Lynn, I think, is very interesting. Undefeated for a Grand Motion. Won the Penn Oaks last time on Penn Mile Day. The twice rescheduled, I think, Penn Mile Day this year in late June. But again, undefeated. Numbers are okay. Well, I think it's going to get more of a test today. Undefeated with 3 stakes wins. But I think this field, with particularly opulent restraint in here, and Go-Go Boots, who I have in the 3rd spot, Bobby Flay trainee coming in from Europe, Bobby Flay owned, Miguel Clement trainee coming in from a European campaign that could make this horse intriguing for certain. In here, I have it 1, 6, 3, and 5.
An 83 might win a $500,000 race today. Seems to be an awful lot of money for this level. 3-4-1, Go-Go Boots, first time United States for Bobby Flay, an offspring of Night of Thunder, who is a son of Dabawi. Just, taking that the 9.5 furlongs isn't an issue at all. And maybe today's day we can get a price on this runner before it disappears. I have Evershed in the mix here, hoping to improve on the Colonial comeback race, not improve running position. But I think really I would think an 88 gets it done here to win the race as a point of reference. And Opulent Restraint can run that. Just have it in 3rd. 3-4-1 in the Oaks.
I think it's an interesting field with some horses with some potential, maybe, but it's not necessarily a knockout field by any means. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more to wrap up the Saturday card. Stay tuned.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Welcome back.
That's you.
It's
My
me.
bad. I was just so excited to talk about the sword dancer.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Kicking off Grade 1 action on this Saturday afternoon is Race 10, the Sword Dancer. Grade 1 event, $750,000, a mile and a half on the grass.
It's hard to believe it's been up here for 33 years. But what I used to love about the Sword Dancer was it meant Saratoga was coming. It was like the end of the Belmont meet the Grade 1. Going back like 40 years. And this is the first time, I think, since Main Sequence won that it's on its own day after a decade about being on the undercard of the Travers. I'm 159. I'm surprised you have the 1 second. Okay, I thought it was El Cordobas to me is coming out of the, Prince of Wales Stakes, which is a Group 2 effort over there, an offspring of Frankel. I just think, does have to come back to the earlier season, draws the inside. It's 12 furlongs, loop around. Nation's Pride. What's funny is when they moved the Sword Dancer to the undercard of the Travers, I think Flintshire won the first 2. And Flintshire might be the only horse that has more miles on him in a career than Nation's Pride, who has been all over, hasn't run since April 5th, has won here before, so one, I just think an unbelievable story for the other Charles Appleby. And then Utah Beach on the outside. I'm hoping it sounds silly, these 3 turns, but I believe it's that. Duck in and save ground right away. Don't just because you're loping along, don't do it wide. 159.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be wide on 3 turns.
Never. It's
I went with Farbridge.
Okay.
You know, you mentioned the one. So you think the one lays over the field because you said
no. I don't think. I think I.
Oh, you were surprised I was using it at all.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more lost.
Oh no,
with,
not off of grade 2 and or group 2 over at Newmarket, being at Charlie Appleby. I didn't know what to do with Nation's Pride is my problem, so I went with El Cordobas in the mix. But Farbridge, we were down at Gulfstream, Florida Derby weekend. Farbridge wins the Pan American. Miguel Clement was in the winner's circle and kind of laid out where they were going to go with this horse going forward. And they pretty much kept to the plan and done so fairly successfully. So this one coming in off the win in the Bowling Green last time in good form, I think is absolutely legit. I went there, but El Cordobas from Charlie Appleby, I do think. And I was reading last night, you see William Buick was on board. That, according to what I read, that win was his 2000th win, his 2000 British winner. So nice win for William Buick, obviously, with El Cordobas.
It's pretty good.
And then in the third spot, I have Rebel Red for Cherie DeVoe, who I think is in good form. And, you know, the last start, not so much. 2 starts back was okay, though, but number-wise was in the thick of things, I would think. Last time, so I tilted in that direction. I route Ortiz a little bit of a price in the 10th, 6, 1, 2, 3, and 7. Actually.
Race number 11 at 6:17. 3-year-old fillies 1X going 7.
3, 1, 4, and 8. I'll put Alieska on top. Nice winner in debut. That was in the Norm Cassie barn. Moves over to Chad. Gets a start up here at Saratoga in a similar event. Runs 3rd. I think this horse is set up well today, second start of the season, and just kind of looking, relatively speaking, at the rest of this group, I think is in a good spot. A Practical Love for Bill Mott tossed in a very good numbered win to break the maiden last time. If we get back to that race, Practical Love might be the one to beat. And Artemis Sound in the 3rd spot, Todd Pletcher trainee that had a couple of wins, 3 and 4 starts back, good second, 2 back, and then tried this kind of company last time and was well beaten 4th. The races 2 and 3 back maybe look more like what I want, certainly, and what I think we might get today, because it seems like the horse was just moving in the right direction before going backwards last time. I'll look for a rebound. In the 11th, 3, 1, 4, and 8.
My first feel for this race was, Seth, I have 6 of the 8 live. I mean, this is, you know, a terrific race. And with that, maybe I should have gone to Chatter, but next on stage from the outside, coming off of, I thought, a good performance, losing to Ragtime late, losing comfortably, but a good effort. Next on stage for Ray Handel, my top pick. Other side of the starting gate, Practical Love, who I think, you know, when the wagering's done, it's going to be a solid favorite in this race off of that 88 victory, taking on winners for the first time for Bill Mott. But I have the race 6 deep, and then Chatter getting Lasix for the first time, making the first start since early January. 8-1-5.
Race number 12 wraps things up about 10 minutes before 7 this evening. 1.125 on the grass.
9-6-2 for me. Lisa Lewis sends out the 9 Ortis going off of a victory at a claiming 17. Another horse who had a long layoff. Seth, my old rule used to be they never come back. Forget that. Has 2 wins off of the layoff. Terminal Velocity for second, taking on winners for the first time. I almost put this horse on top off of that June 28th effort at 7-1. And then Amplitude for Chad Brown. Second start of the season. Will be probably closer early and come running with Manny Franco. 9-6-2.
Put Amplitude on top. 2-10, 7-1. And I like when trainers are in a position of doing something they've done before with the horse. And this one, you look back last year, won in the second start, close up near miss in the debut, won in the second start of this season off a decent try last time. So it's Chad Brown. I'm hoping Chad has a big day. Obviously, I've landed on a few of those, but I don't think that's too much to ask because he had a nice day yesterday, and it is Chad Brown right up here at Saratoga. So Amplitude on top for Chad and Klarovich, Manny Franco on board. I'll go outside to Charles J. I mentioned a lot of time the 2 turns on the grass. I'm always leery to have an outside post position, but Irod Ortiz is on board. Charles J. Blinker's on. We'll see and hope that they can get a position. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the number 7. But I think this one coming up from Monmouth off a good try is live. I will say the number 1 Skylar's Starship at a big price coming in from the Finger Lakes, trying the turf again. With the early speed, if they get to the backstretch and the 1 has separated a little bit, might be a candidate for a theft on the front end in here at a price. So take an extra look at that one. 2, 10, 7, and 1.
All right, that wraps up, ladies and gentlemen. It's a gorgeous day. He stays, I go. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.